Well, hello my lovelies, and welcome to today's daily diary. And you join me in, turn the radio off, you join me in Madame Fanny, who I hope is not going to kangaroo all over the bloody shop like she did last night. Right, good news and bad news. Bad news first. Yesterday wasn't a dream. I woke up and yeah, it's real. So if you didn't watch yesterday's video or last night's live, the big news is I'm losing my home. And we're driving past what might be my new home. But we can talk about that. So, yeah, that was the bad news. The good news, oh, hello sheepies. Oh, is it tea time? You all, that's why you were all huddled together. Oh, and there's Mr. Sheepy Farmer chap. The good news. What was the good news? Oh, the good news is I'm not as despondent and falling apart as I thought I would be. Oh, Madame Fanny's driving quite nicely. Good for her. Good for her. Yeah, so at that point I have got to say a massive and sincerely heartfelt thank you, as always, but my God, in particular now, a massive thank you to the community, the people who watch my videos, the people who are kind enough to leave comments, send kind wishes, send support, and of course to my inner scrotum, my bogs, Boaty's old geezers and gals. And you don't need to be old to be a bog. All ages are welcome. Yeah, my inner scrotum, the people who tune in every night to my late night live streams, the support and kind wishes and positivity and everything is beyond words, and I am beyond grateful for it. And it's working, darlings. It's working. Now, trust me, if I was dealing with this on my Jack Jones, I would be bloody falling apart. And yeah, amazingly, I'm not. I'm okay. I am okay, and that's entirely down to you lot. So thank you so very much. You even made me laugh last night. I didn't expect to laugh. And tonight, oh my God, tonight's live stream is going to be, it's going to be pandemonium, or maybe that should be pantomonium, because oh, I happened to briefly mention panties on a previous live stream, and Emma Lemon of the eponymous YouTube channel Emma Lemon, part of the MHM management crew, one of my moderation team on the lives, and of course a dear friend, decided to launch something called Pants to Boaty. And in the Boaty's World Facebook community group, she exhorted community members to send me panties in the post. God, that sounds like a festival, doesn't it? Come to Panties in the Post this summer. And I thought, oh right, that's a funny post. That's an amusing post. There was an amusing picture with a very attractive AI generated lady that looked quite a lot like Chinese Madam, actually. And I thought, just what a funny post. Then the bloody postman turned up. Honestly, you'd have laughed. The postman turned up at Windy Bum this afternoon with an armful of things. And I said, oh gosh, are they all for me? And then it suddenly clicked. And I actually said to the postman, who no doubt thinks I'm utterly balmy, I said, oh Christ, these are pants. These are all pants. Oh God, I'm sure he wonders what. They'll be glad when I'm bloody gone. The posties will be glad when I'm bloody gone. Oh. Endless deliveries to normally humorously addressed the Reverend Boaty windy ass cottage. Yeah, so tonight's live stream, I suspect it's going to be an unboxing stream, as I believe they call these things. And I suspect that I'm going to be inundated with pants, and I'm dreading what people have sent me, because you lot are, well, quite frankly, you're all sick. Let's just say I'm not entirely convinced that every pair of pants that has winged their way to Windy Bottom, let's just say I'm not convinced that they're all going to be freshly laundered. So, oh God, there's a sight none of us needed. Dear me. Talk about the crack of dawn. Pull your trousers up, man. So yeah, in the midst of all of this, life goes on. Life goes on, and of course, I'm fully aware that worse things than this happen every minute of every day to other people. It's just that this is happening to me, and I take that quite personally. Yeah, things that happen to me I tend to take quite personally. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So yeah, welcome to day 2 of this, my new life. Welcome to the day after the day when my little world fell apart a bit. And yeah, and it has to be dealt with, doesn't it? It has to be dealt with. I think I don't want to I'm probably going to over dramatize this, and I'm aware that I shouldn't. You know, what's happened? I'm a private tenant, and I've been, you know, and I've got to leave. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. And you know, I'm sure a lot of you will think, well, that's just it's an inconvenience. It might be, hello, is this guy going to go for the big overtake? No, he's not. There's a Seat of some sort that was making overtaking kind of suggestive moves on the road. He's right up my trumpet. Oh, he's backed off a little bit now. Where was I? Yeah, yeah. In real terms, it's an inconvenience, a major inconvenience, but just that, an inconvenience. It's more than that to me, and I'm kind of unapologetic about that. The fact that it is more than that to me. Windy Bum has meant everything to me over the last 10 years, and it's been everything to me. It's been my haven, my rescue, my sanity. I love it. I never ever wanted to leave, and it's going to be an emotional wrench, but unfortunately, because of my situation, it's not just as simple as finding somewhere else, because financially that's not going to be an option for me. Now, I'm not seeking pity, and I would like to make it absolutely clear and plain that nobody else is to blame for me being in my situation other than me. I am the sole reason that I am where I am. I'm not one of those people that will blame it on the government or the iguanas that control the government, or you know, any kind of conspiracy theory that you care to name. I made life decisions, and as these things do, they come back to bite you on the bum. And I think that's important to say, that I take complete responsibility for my own situation. That said, no, I'm not retracting on that. I'm just going to say that whilst I do take full responsibility, again to reiterate, I'm just so grateful for the love and support that I'm receiving, and that's going to make the difference. Right, enough about all of that blether. We have to make, I say we, I always say we. In the videos I always say we, because I do, whatever I'm doing it with you guys. I have been taken to task on saying we, using the plural rather than the perpendicular pronoun of I. But again, I'm unapologetic in saying we. Some people don't get the community, they don't understand just what an amazing thing the community is, and it's a multi-way street, the community. It's not a bloody some sort of cult where everybody worships me. Quite the opposite. If anything, it's an anti-cult where everybody takes the piss out of me. But the wonderful thing about the community is everybody is there for everybody else. So I make no apologies for using the word we in the past, present, and no doubt in the future. Aren't the colours of the leaves lovely? I don't like that autumn is the precursor of winter, but I do love the colours of autumn and the beauty of the falling leaves. Right, so yeah, we need to make a plan for going forward, and many of you have come up with ideas, thoughts, suggestions in the live, in comments after the live, and in comments on yesterday's video, and thank you for all of those. Right, as far as I can think about it, I think we have to start with the basics and look at a worst case scenario. Right, what is the worst case scenario? As far as I can see, the worst case scenario is van life. Living in Netty. Now, as worst case scenarios go, they could be worse. I could not have a Netty, and then the worst case scenario would be a tent or a shop doorway or a hostel or something. So yeah, I am aware that in many ways I am blessed. Yeah, so Netty's going to be the worst case scenario, hopefully. And so I think we need to prepare that as the first step, if you like. And realistically, what does that mean? Well, Netty is due an MOT next month. I forget the exact date, but I know that it's November. And that's kind of a big thing, isn't it? Because if Netty catastrophically fails her MOT and is an unviable repair or an unaffordable repair, which is quite likely, then Netty's out of the equation and we are facing a much darker situation. So that's got to be the first thing. Netty's got to, I need to get Netty MOT'd sooner rather than later. Well, put her in for an MOT sooner rather than later, so we know what we're dealing with and we know if Netty is going to be an option. Assuming that Netty is an option, the next thing I need to do see I used I there rather than we, because it would be me doing it, I suppose. I make sense to myself even if nobody else. So the next thing I'd need to do would be to get Netty ready for van life, as in off-grid life. That would mean, what would that mean? Well, primarily that would mean getting heat, and realistically the most viable way of doing that would be getting a Chinese diesel heater in. I found somebody who could do it. The basic cost is £375. Might be a little bit more for Netty because she's a petrol vehicle and therefore will require an additional tank, which I'm led to believe should be mounted externally if possible, because otherwise it'll pong the place out. So that needs doing. Getting Netty's fridge working on gas would be another thing, and getting the bit of plumbing sorted in the bathroom, getting the tap and shower fitted in the bathroom. And then Netty would be viable for some form of van life existence. That's gonna be potentially problematical because all of those things just mentioned are going to require funding. And as I mentioned yesterday, the thing that I had at the back of my mind, the insurance, that's not happening, or at least not happening anytime soon, but potentially not happening at all. So we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, so I think those are the first steps to take. Covering the basics. So if the worst comes to the worst, when I spend my last ever night in Windy Bottom, I'm not on the street, I'm in Netty, and I've got warmth, and I've got a fridge, and I've got means of washing myself. Does that make sense? Do let me know in the comments, please, if I'm thinking about anything wrongly, or if I'm getting priorities wrong, or if you've got any opinions or suggestions, because I ain't got a clue what I'm doing. This is, I watch quite a lot of van life stuff, or I have done. And a lot of people seem to do it out of some form of choice. I sold my house, I did this, I did that, I did the other. I'm not doing this out of choice. Not in any way, shape or form. There are people out there who've done it out of necessity. So, yeah, I am... I'm identifying very much with those people. So yeah, any of you who've got experience that I haven't got, thoughts, ideas, whatever, bang them in the comments. I'll be really grateful. So yeah, I think that's the first thing to do. And yeah, if we can get that done, if Netty's MOT'd, if she's got a heater, if the fridge is working on gas, you know, we could scrape along. It would be suboptimal, and you'd be living on a bit of a knife edge, because Netty's a classic vehicle, not intended for daily use, really, at the age of nearly 40. Mind you, I'm 54. Am I intended for daily use? Probably not. Probably not fit for purpose. But yeah, push comes to shove, we could scratch along at that. So I think that's the first thing that I need to make happen. And if I can make that happen, then I think I can do a sigh of relief, because then the worst isn't going to be, please God, touch wood, that bad. Now, if and when we get that sorted, I think the next step would be to look for and try and make happen a seasonal pitch somewhere around here, probably. In fact, we've just driven past one a couple of minutes ago. A few minutes ago we drove past Ripley Caravan and Motorhome Club site. Never stayed there, but they do seasonal pitches. I suspect they might be too expensive, but a couple of people have mentioned them. I mentioned the seasonal pitch on the live stream last night, because it's an idea that I had at work last night, and I think that would work, and I think it would be a step up from off-grid van life. If we could find a seasonal pitch with an electric hookup, then that would actually be quite comfortable. I could park Netty up on the pitch, have a car parked next to her, commute to work, and you know, I'd have all the mod cons really with Netty on electric hookup. You know, that would be the situation that I've been having on Monday nights, and I've loved them. I'm sure it would be a bit different when it's your everyday life, but I could also see myself quite enjoying it, actually. Yeah, that would be quite satisfactory, really would. So I would need to find a seasonal pitch, and then, and again, this would be the difficult thing, I would need to fund it, because as I understand it, you have to pay in advance, and we're looking at a cost of somewhere between, from what I can see, initial research, somewhere between 1,500 quid and 3 grand a year. So that would be like the next level. And then if I could sort all of that, and it looked like that was going to be a way to go forward, then hopefully living that life would enable me to save a few pennies, and at some point I could buy a caravan, a bigger, old, you know, it'd be old, but a caravan for the seasonal pitch, and I could set that up then as a permanent home. Big old caravans, they're not a stupid amount of money. You can get quite a lot of caravan, again from my initial research, for not a ridiculous amount of money. And then Netty would go back to being a classic hobby. She'd still be there. I'll never get rid of Netty. No matter what happens, I'll never get rid of Netty. Not through choice, anyway. And then that might be it. That might be it. That might be life going forward. Living between a seasonal pitch, and when you're not on the seasonal pitch, netting. But then there might be other options. There might be the Sherpa's Lodge might come into play. The hotel at Clay Cross might come into play. I could find somewhere else to rent privately if I was in a better financial position, but anyway. Right, we're coming up to 25 minutes, so that is enough wittering for this one. Thank you for watching. If you have been, enjoy the outro. wish me luck for the panties. And right, yeah, I will see you tomorrow for day 3 of my new existence. Prepping, planning. Oh, what will the title to this one be? Something good and clickbaity. Oh yeah, that's the other thing we need to do. Get cracking on the YouTube channel, because God knows I'm going to be relying on some income from that going forward. So yeah, get these crappy daily diary videos, keep them coming. Alright darlings, thanks for watching. Much love from me. Catch you tomorrow. Doodle pip.
The YouTube channel's not any good, but he's a nice guy. I'm sorry, Mr. Boaty.
Oh. You had me at YouTube videos. Let's go, Boaty.
Boaty's such a great guy, such a great guy, very tall, such a great guy. I wish Boaty was here in America with me right now.
You twat. Wanker.